Welcome back to my cozy kitchen. Today we're decorating a cake. This is supposed to be done in my cake decorating class. However, my sister-in-law is unable to attend tonight, and I'm not going to have transportation because my car's going to be in the shop getting a repair done. And my dog's barking. Daisy, hush! But the cake that I have, I actually got from class about 3 weeks ago, and it needs rescued. I am cleaning it all off. I made some fresh buttercream that I'm putting on there, and I see this is already sweating. I don't even know if I can, maybe I might be able to whip this up if I need extra icing. I doubt it if I will. Let me use a different, I'm definitely using a different bowl. Yeah, I'm clanging things around right now because I need to use a bowl, and I'm going to scrape off the old icing into another bowl. I want to make this as smooth as possible. I basically want a crumb coat only. Then we'll get the final coat on the outside. In here, I am just scraping off all the old icing, and in hindsight, I wish I would have just left that original icing on and fixed it and reversed my color scheme. This cake had a lot of issues, and when I go and put the new icing on, you're going to see that it took me forever. It actually took me about an hour. It took me a while to get this frosting, and it was never perfectly smooth. It was never perfect anywhere. It had problem spots that I had to keep going over and over till I got to a point where I said enough is enough, and I would try to make it purposely look rustic.
Ghosting.
So that was a bald spot that kept going bald, and I would put frosting over it, and that would go smooth it out, and it would pull right back off the cake. Now I know what I probably should have done. I probably should have put it back in the refrigerator for 10 or 15 minutes. So this is definitely a problem child cake. Now you will have to forgive me because I cannot see the viewfinder, but this cake had problems coming out of the freezer. That's why I said cake rescue. This has been in the fridge for a hot minute. I was doing other things. I got it as smooth as I could possibly get it. So now I am going to try a couple other things. The sides are the big problem. Then there's this up here, and that's not from extra icing. That's more of the way that the cake was not balanced. Now, I'm not blaming my instructor. I'm just saying that when she put this cake together, when we did our very first caking class, this was her demo cake, and she just kind of did whatever she could to make this as simple as possible, and she kind of did it in a hurry. You know, it wasn't like she could spend an hour on just smoothing and having very limited resources in the classroom. So I'm gonna try something here. I got these cake smoother things. I'm going to see if I can find, maybe do some kind of texture or something to try to disguise the fact that this cake was effed up. I am really new to these kind of videos, by the way, as well. Not just new to cake decorating. Yes, I am brand new. This is only my second cake I've ever done. But I'm going to see if I can maybe mark this up, put kind of like a texture on it to disguise the fact that it was totally uneven and not smooth. Rustic look. There we go. And my puppy dogs are going to love me. So I'm dropping pieces of icing. This might even be too late for me to do this. I might be just making it worse. This is all dried icing coming off of here. Plan B. What is plan B? We'll leave it alone. Here I am just doing a basket weave. And I messed up the first one because I had the tip in the wrong direction. The teeth need to be up, not down, to get the right texture. So I pulled it off, and then I restarted my weave. The basket weave, it really is not difficult at all. And it looks really elegant. It's just tedious and time consuming. But the end results are well worth it. And you'll see at the end of the video, when the cake is done, the basket weave is actually my favorite part. And this is a good place for me to say that when I get to the end and I say this is the ugliest cake ever, in hindsight, I'm just super critical of myself. As I look back now and I look at the cake, it's not bad for what I had to work with. The real test will be next time I do a cake. I am starting from scratch, from baking it, etc. This was a rescue. This was using a cake that had old icing on it to begin with, and I think that was my biggest problem because that old icing ended up being grainy. So I'm starting to do the border around the top, and it wasn't going the way that I wanted it to go. I had problems. Had something to do with the consistency of the icing also, and I ended up doing a double border, it became a hot mess. I ended up masking some of it with leaves later on. And I know you can't really see the viewpoint too well, but I promise, as I do more videos, I will figure out my filming scheme and setup in the kitchen. I'm used to filming things at my desk or out in the real world between my true crime channel and my DoorDash. Maybe I need to title this The World's Ugliest Cake. Here I'm starting on the bottom border. I used a number 21 tip, and I was going for a shell border. But again, icing consistency was an issue, along with the fact it did not want to stick to the cake. The original plan was to do rosettes, but I ended up doing dots instead because of the consistency. This is the same yellow that I used on the cake that I striped my bag with it. And I striped it on the narrow end because this is going to be the top of the petal. This is the base of the petals because I want these to be tipped in yellow. So I started doing the roses and I struggled with my mounds, and then when I started with the petals, they wanted to flop over because the icing wasn't stiff enough this time. This is what I'm saying. It's all about the stiffness for the piping is different than for the frosting. But I ended up after that, after I did a few on my nail, I started piping directly on the cake because I was also struggling with getting them off in one piece without smushing them. By this time it was 11 p.m. and I was just so ready to be done with this cake. Otherwise, I think about it, I will next time make the flowers on the parchment and put them in the refrigerator for 15 minutes or in the freezer. Okay, there it is. My roses. And everywhere I thought I could see imperfections went some green leaves. Like I said, the basket weave was the best part of the whole entire cake. My borders started falling off, so I still got to work on this. But I don't know about you, but I see all these people perfecting these perfect cakes. Even some of the ones that says, oh, my first cake, look like they've been decorating cakes for a hot minute, not their first. And I'm like, how's that their first? I'm looking at this is my second, But I would say if there was an award for the ugliest cake of the year, I would probably win it hands down. But I tried to salvage this cake. This is the best that I could do. I wish I think it may have turned out better had I started from scratch baking my own cake and not scraping off somebody else's icing and using their crumb coating and everything. Maybe it would have turned out different. This is not the exact design I had in mind, but it was close. The sides were supposed to be different and everything. But that's it for now. And if you want to keep on following my journey as I learn how to do cake decorating, make sure you subscribe. Even if you think this is a horrible, horrible video, please give me a thumbs up. It'll help the algorithm out a lot. And Daisy says goodbye. Love you all and have a great day.